Hey there, welcome to CountyLine TV. Do me a favor, if you clicked on this video and you haven't already hit subscribe, why don't you go down there, why don't you hit subscribe for me? Because if you clicked on the video, you probably have something you want to watch on this channel. If you enjoy drift cars, like my full 8-point cage Wisefab 350Z that's getting a 2JZ swap, if you like 2JZ stuff, then click subscribe. If you like drift car stuff, hit subscribe. If you like C5 Corvette drift cars, hit subscribe. I got one of those. If you like, I don't know, farm animals like goats and alpacas and stuff, I got those too. Hit subscribe. If you like going mudding on four-wheelers and stuff, dang man, hit subscribe, dude. Subscribe to this channel. Do it. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Smash that button. And while you're at it, smash the like button. And while you're at it, go down below, go in the comments, and tell me, what resolution do you usually watch YouTube videos in? Because I keep uploading in 1080, and I have every capability of uploading in 4K, but I don't really think anybody watches in 4K. And most people are watching on their phones, they're doing the auto resolution. It's usually not even 720. So if you want me to upload in 4K, let me know and I will. But I'm not going to go through the hassle of switching over if you don't. Anyway, now to the topic at hand. Now that I got that spiel over with. Today, there's a car way over there, way jacked up in the air, and it don't have any wheels on it, but we need to give it an alignment. So we got to take the wheels off of this car because they're actually my dad's wheels. I don't have wheels for that car. So it's going back on jack stands now that we're able to take this car off of jack stands back here. So I got to do the flip-flopsies and get the wheels on that car. And then we're going to give it an alignment. We're going to center the rack. And hopefully we're gonna pop a battery in it and move it for the first time in, I have no idea how long it's been since that car has moved, but it's got a fresh alternator, brand new transmission, lots of stuff that it needed, so hopefully it will work okay. I am just gonna go ahead and go through the big hassle of like jacking the front of this up, taking the wheels off, putting them on that, taking the jack stands out from under that, putting it down, and then coming back over here, doing it again. It's going to be a big spiel, but I'm not going to bore you guys with it. So I'll get back to you when I got 4 wheels on that car and we're able to start the alignment. See you then. Alright, so that was a really annoying thing to have to do, to be honest, like going from this car to that car to this car to that car, just to keep changing wheels and stuff or whatever. But anyway, I got that car back there. It's up on jack stands on one end. I don't know if I'm pointing you in the right direction. Yeah, you can see it. It's up on jack stands in the back. Anyway, sorry about the close up to my face. And then it's on the just some random Infinity wheels we had laying around in the front. This car is on the wheels that'll be on it for a little while in the back till my dad decides to be bougie and buy brand new wheels again. And then I got the front ones laying on the ground because the first thing we need to do is in the front we need to center the rack. And I don't want the wheels on for that because I got to take the tie rods off. If you don't know what I mean by centering the rack, if you're not familiar with that process, when you make a big change to the tie rod situation in the front of the car, it kind of counters where when the wheels are facing straight, you have the same amount of movement to lock one direction to the other. So you could like potentially turn the steering wheel further left than you could right, so you'd have an uneven full lock. Like you'd have, say, 55 degrees one direction and 49 the other, or whatever. Those are just numbers I pulled out of the air, but that's what we're trying to avoid, is having uneven full lock from one direction to the other. So we have to take the tie rods off, spin the steering wheel all the way one way, and then count the turns going all the way back the other way, put it in the middle, and then that's where we set our toe to 0 at. And then you unbolt the steering wheel, move it to where it's facing straight up and down, and then bolt it back in. The safety Torx bits that it requires to take the steering wheel off, I actually lost the one that goes to these steering wheels in my G35 sedan that I had about a year or so ago. So I'll have to buy a new one before I can do the whole steering wheel thing. But it can just be off right now. I'd rather worry about the steering rack being centered versus the steering wheel, because this car probably won't have a stock steering wheel for very long anyway. So it's not a big deal. But I'm gonna go ahead and get these tie rods busted off and start counting turns and stuff, and I'll sort of walk you guys through that as we go. So we're here on the passenger side of the car, and the bolt under here, you guys can probably see right there, that takes the tie rod off the knuckle is a 24 millimeter, and I'm gonna go ahead and bust that off and get the tie rod loose. All you gotta do is just bust it loose and just literally just leave it hanging. So yeah, you just leave that guy just a dangling like that, and then I'm gonna go over and do the same thing to the other side. I'll just leave it just tie rod dangling, and then I'll meet you guys inside the car to explain the next part. The freaking heat just kicked back on, so it's gonna be kind of loud and annoying. But anyway, with the tie rods just hanging down there, we'll turn this all the way to the right, which it was almost there already. So we're all the way locked to the right now, right? So we'll call this position, you know, like 0 right now. So then we'll go 1 full rotation. That's about 1. Another full rotation. That's 2. And then about another half. 3 full rotations. So basically 3 full rotations, which is weird because I thought it was not that much on these cars. But I guess I've been wrong before. So we need to go back 1.5. So 1 and about a half. And that should be pretty close to center. And then what we'll do with that is we'll take us a piece of duct tape here, and we'll make sure we're good, and this door would leave me alone. We'll make sure we're good in 12 o'clock with the tape. I think that's about about 12 o'clock. So we'll call that our center point, and we'll go ahead and tape that on there. And then that way, as we get the toe closer and closer to 0, we can just verify that our steering wheel is still centered, and that'll keep our wreck centered. Now, for the part we've been waiting for a while, I'm actually gonna slap the tie rods back in and get wheels on it and get those freaking, the whole alignment rig on it. I'm excited. I've been wanting something like that for a while, and I finally built it, and now we get to use it. Well guys, I got the tie rods hooked up, and I put the steering wheel back in the middle, and this is kind of where we're at right now while we're still in the air with tow. This one's out a little bit, pretty bad. This one's out really bad, but that's okay because there's plenty of adjustment in the tie rods to fix that. But the problem that we're seeing here is that the back looks like the Gravedigger, goddamn monster truck, and then the front is all sitting here. It ain't even on the ground, and it's already hammer fresh. So that could be a problem, but we're gonna see if the tires even touch the ground or if the subframe hits first. That's a joke. The tires will hit the ground, but the subframe might too. Oh yeah. That looked pretty solid. That didn't look like there was a lot of suspension there. Well, hammer fresh. Look at that. Oh my god, this thing, it looks like a drag car. It's getting ready to do digs. Oh joy. Oh, will the jack even come out from the freaking... Oh, it's low. Holy cow. You guys see that situation going on there? Oh, Lord, I almost tripped on the jack. Oh, look at that. I am... It's sitting, it ain't even max low. It's sitting on the jack. The jack won't come out. Rip to that guy. I think it goes without saying that we're gonna have to raise the front of the car and lower the back of the car to our desired ride height before we can even start setting tow and camber. So, rip. We'll get her jacked back up in the air and start cranking her up. There goes old Satan. Going off with my buddy Jesse. he does fab work. He's gonna put me a sweet new back bumper on there, because that one, as you can kind of see from this angle, is folded in the left side. Sayonara. Hey guys, it's like the next day or 2 days later or something from when you saw the Satan leaving, and since the only other running driving vehicle I have is my Corvette, I had to put some tires on the back from where I killed him doing that burnout. And of course, there's a hole right at where the sidewall meets the tread on the wheel, or the tire I mean, that I was putting on it, so I had to plug that. Yeah, it's not safe, whatever, I don't really care. But anyway, now we're going to get back to this job here, my dad's 350Z, where we're gonna start setting the ride height so we can do the alignment. Get her all cranked out there. Since there's no front end on this, there's super easy access to the coilover once you turn that wheel. And we're gonna raise the ride height. I gotta grab the spanner wrenches and I'll be right back to start doing that. So most of you know, but for anyone that doesn't, on these coilovers, the easiest way to raise the ride height, I left this loose whenever I installed them because I knew that this was gonna have to happen. But so you make sure that this lock ring is loose, and then you take and you thread this bottom one up, and it'll turn. I don't know if you can really tell, but oh, you can see where that bottom lock ring is turning. With it, I'm turning the entire body of the coilover up, and that's raising the ride height because it's threading out of the lower mount here. So out of the lower mount here. I was out of the shot. Anyway, so I'm just gonna raise this up a whole bunch, and I can either speed this up when I edit it, or I can turn the camera off, and it's got to go up a whole lot. So I'd probably kill a battery by the time I got done doing this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and shut you guys off. One thing that I'll say I really like about these Raceland coilovers, which is weird for me to say that I like these, but one thing I do like is that I raised the car a whole lot already. You can see that there's actually a gap between the tire and the fender while it's in the air. That might change when it gets on the ground, but regardless of that, that little hole, you can still see that it is completely filled with threads from the body of the shock into the mount, and we've already raised it quite a bit. The reason I like that is because a set of coilovers that I had before on a car that unfortunately you guys might not see again, Guy Joe that just moved from Ohio to Pennsylvania owns it now, but it was like my favorite drift car I've ever had. It was a 350Z that was just like a stock DE tuned with a lightweight flywheel and stuff, but like big angle coilovers and all that stuff. Anyway, the coils that were on that car, they were quality, and they rode really good, they drifted really good, they were good to daily drive on. Like, they were a really comfortable set of coilovers, track and street, but they didn't go very high. In order to raise the car high enough that at big angle, your like regular like 255/40 or 265/35 tire wouldn't wreck the fender, there wasn't any threads left in the mount for the shock. So it actually became a problem one time. I drove from here to Columbus, Ohio, which for me is about 3.5 hours to go to a drift event. And in the trailer, since there was like no threads left in that shock mount, it had ripped the one thread that it was holding on by out and fell, like put the shock on the lower control arm in the trailer. But anyway, enough rambling about my past experiences. We're going to now get the jack back under here, which means I have to get it out from under my Corvette. So I got to cut that tire plug off and put it on the car. But anyway, we're going to get the jack under here, put it back on the ground, and see how much the shock compresses with the weight of the car, to see if we need to raise it more or not. Well, unfortunately, I am going to have to put my Cosmos with Kendas mounted up on them back on the Corvette, because I let that rubber cement dry completely with the plug in the tire, and I went to air it up, and before it even seated the bead on the front side, it blew the plug out, or blew a hole in my plug. But dang it. Oh well, I'll just throw the Cosmos on it. Not a big deal. I don't feel like busting that tire off and picking a new one off the shelf right now. And I didn't really want to waste Kenda's driving on the street, but you know, since we're having a shortage right now, but oh well. You gotta do what you gotta do. Well, I just put the car down, and the shock and spring or whatever compressed quite a bit, and the jack still won't come out. So I'm gonna have to raise this side quite a bit more and raise the other side a whole lot. So I'll get back to you after that. All right, here's the moment of truth. You guys ready? All right, it rolled. That means, all right, the jack can come out. That doesn't look bad. It's like just enough that you could probably throw a big angle at it and not hit the fender. That's about perfect. And I actually set it just so that the threads were right at the top of that sight hole I was showing you guys. And this side's about the same. Sick! Right height's good in the front now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and start setting the toe a little bit. So the first step of this alignment is gonna be, I put the steering wheel pretty much straight up there. You can see the duct tape's about 12 o'clock. And then we're going to come down here and on the tie rod there, we're gonna just set like eyeballs straight. We're just gonna like kind of wing it for the first step, just get close before we put the brackets on so we can actually measure it in perfect. But well, that sucks. The freaking inner tie rod's kind of older, kind of wore out a little bit, spun on me, but that's okay. Oh, sorry. You guys, can you still see where we're working? Yeah, you're good. Now as I turn this, yeah, now she's actually adjusted. And on this, since with this angle kit and most angle kits, the part that I'm turning is threaded right-hand thread on the inside and left-hand thread on the outside. You just turn that center piece and keep the other pieces not turning, and it adjusts both sides at the same time. So all you have to do is turn one piece. I'm looking at the tire right now. It looks like I've still got somewhere to go. Getting pretty close, still got some more to go. All right, that's looking, I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. That's looking pretty close to straight, or maybe even a little bit towed in. So but it's close enough. And our steering wheel hasn't moved any, so you guys probably can't see that. Give me a second. Steering wheel hasn't moved any. This is looking pretty good. So we're gonna move to the other side and do the same thing. Now that we're pretty well eyeballed in on both sides, that's where these fancy rigs that I spent so much time and 2 videos on finally come into play. So we got everything on here now, and I got the help of Justin today. I'm getting measurements right now of 72 3/8 in the back and 71 3/4 in the front. So we're towed in a little bit in the front right now. Like you saw me adjust the toe in the last clip or whatever. I've just got to turn that middle piece on the tie rods and get it to come out a little bit more, and we'll check it again, and we'll just trial and error till we get her pretty close to 0, a little bit on the outside. I'm really shocked right now because it usually takes me way more than 2 tries, but like we nailed it on the second hit. 72 72. It's also funny that those are like exactly 6 foot, because I'm pretty sure 72 is 6 foot. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. That came out good, quick and easy. The front toes set, the front ride height set. we're probably running out of time on this video, so I'm actually going to save doing the back for the next video or just a future video in general, because we also have some other stuff going on, hint hint back there, going on as this week progresses. So that's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe down there. For real, do it. Just do it. And then tell your friends to go do it too, because that'd be cool of you.
Don't
Thanks.
tell your mama.
Yeah, and what he said. Tell your mom to subscribe too. We'll catch you on the next one.